Okay, okay.
So,
Yes, okay.
you can read up to this, huh?
Yes, can read.
I swear by the Almighty Allah
I swear by the Almighty Allah,
that the evidence I shall give to this commission
the evidence I shall give to this commission
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
You can wait for the instructions, sir.
Okay.
Could you state your names, please? Could you state your names? Your names.
I am Mustapha Colley.
Mustapha?
Colley. Mustapha B. Colley.
Mustapha Colley. Where do you live, Mr. Colley?
Lamin, Combo North.
There's a lot of noise coming from the back. What work do you do, Mr. Colley? What work do you do? What work?
I am the Deputy Managing Director of Gambia Granite Corporation.
GGC?
GGC, yes.
Did the name change?
Yes, now we call National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation.
Can you repeat that name?
National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation.
When did the name change?
About 3 years ago.
It's still a statutory corporation. It's a statutory corporation.
Yeah.
Public enterprise.
Public enterprise, yes.
Would you like to sit down?
Me?
You can sit down.
Okay, thank you.
You say you're the Deputy Managing Director. Who is the Managing Director?
Mr. Anthony Carvalho.
How long have you been with GGC, then NFSPM?
I've been with GPMB and then GGC, and I've been there since 1980.
1980. Since 1980. What positions have you held? In 1980, what was it called?
Well, I'm a trained engineer, so I started as an engineer, a shift engineer. Shift engineer.
Shift engineer.
Yeah.
In 1980, when you joined, what was it called? What was it called in 1980?
GPMB, Gambia Produce Marketing Board.
GPMB?
Yes.
Then it became what? After it was GPMB, then did it have another name?
It became GOPMAC. GOPMAC.
GOPMAC.
Yes.
What does GOPMAC stand for?
Gambia Oilseed Processing and Marketing Corporation.
Gambia Oilseed.
Oilseeds, yeah. Processing and Marketing Corporation.
Okay. And then it became GGC, or?
Yeah, that was what was privatized, and the new owners alimented and changed it to Gambia Granite Corporation. Changed the name from GOPMAC to GGC.
It was privatized which year?
93, 94.
93, 94.
I would say 92, 92, 93, I think. I'm not sure.
Then what happened? How did it become a corporation?
Pardon?
How did it become a corporation again? How did it become a public enterprise again? After it was privatized?
The company was renationalized or taken over in 1999.
how long have you been Deputy MD?
How long have I?
How long have you been Deputy MD?
Must be about 5 or 6 years now.
Immediately before you were Deputy MD, what position did you hold?
General Manager.
General Manager. Mr. Carvalho was still head at the time?
No, he was not there then.
Okay.
No.
As General Manager, you were in charge?
Yeah, I was in charge.
You have a board?
Currently, yes.
Who's the chairman?
Amadou Colley.
Amadou Colley, former governor?
Central Bank, yes.
How long has he been chairman?
I wouldn't be sure, but I think it must be about 4 years. 3-4 years.
Okay. Who was the chairman when you were general manager?
Alaji Tamunjai.
Mr. Carvalho has been with you for only about 4 years?
Yes, I think it's 4 years. I think they came in. I would not be too sure, but I know it is definitely more than 4 years. Because then they came in himself and Mr. Mboj, Alaji Ali Mboj. Ali Mboj was the managing director, and he was the deputy. I think this was around 2010 or thereabout, 2009-10. And Mr. Mboj was removed and he was made the managing director, and I was made the deputy managing director.
And you were made, sorry?
I said...
Mr. Mboj was removed?
Yeah, and Mr. Carvalho was made the managing director, and I was made the deputy managing director there.
So he came in for the first time as managing director?
Mr. Mboj.
Mr.
Yes.
Carvalho?
Deputy. When he first came in, he came in as a deputy.
Okay.
To Mr. Mboj. Mr. Mboj was the managing director.
Okay. Who is your line ministry?
Currently, it's Ministry of Agriculture. But previously, we were under finance.
Previously, you were under finance until when?
Yeah. Finance and even office of the president. So we've moved from, depending on the year, finance, trade, and OP. But currently, we are under agriculture.
Until the change of government, you were under which?
OP.
You were under OP.
Yeah.
How long were you under OP?
Must be 3 years. All the other years, 3 years. All the other years, we are under finance.
Okay. You were summoned today in relation to GFFI and Premier Agro Oil. I understand we will invite you back regarding Premier Agro Oil. Today we will just deal with GFFI, which is okay. Gambia Food and Feed Industries.
Okay.
You are the chairman of the board?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been chairman of the board?
Since 2012. October 2012.
Now, you have prepared this document, which also has exhibited to it some documents. Do you have another copy, or do you want to make use of this copy?
The witness statement, I have a copy.
You have?
Yeah.
All right. If you wish, you can refer to it. You were appointed as chairman by the ex-president.
By the?
Ex-president. Chairman of GFFI.
Well, yes, that's what the letter was signed by the managing director of Gambia Ports Authority.
It was signed by?
The managing director of Gambia Ports Authority.
That letter is not exhibited to this.
Yes, but informing of executive approval to appoint me as the chairman. but the letter was signed. Unfortunately, I will leave copies of that.
That letter is not part of
Because
this bundle.
when I mentioned that I attached them here, but unfortunately, when I checked through my copy, I realized I did not attach them.
All right, we will take that copy.
Yeah.
Just put it down. When was it that you were appointed?
That said, the letter was dated 17th October 2012.
And it was signed by the managing director. Who was managing director at the time?
Called Lamin Jiba.
And he said executive approval. Can you read the line, the first paragraph?
Yes, there was a letter from...
Can you read the first paragraph?
Of
the letter appointing you.
Okay.
It's on Ports Authority letterhead. Is it in Gambia Ports Authority letterhead?
Is it?
Is it on Gambia Ports Authority letterhead?
Yes, yes. The letter says, reference to the above mentioned subject, you are herewith appointed by the Office of the Secretary General to serve as Chairman of the Board of Directors of Kamalo Factory with effect from October 8, 2012.
Can I have a copy of the letter?
They attached the approval of the letter also from OP.
Okay.
Maybe you can.
What was your connection to Gambia Ports Authority at the time? The connection of GFFI to Gambia Ports Authority at the time, maybe?
I was the chairman.
So the Office of the President had asked the Gambia Ports Authority to establish a board.
Yes. But it would appear that maybe the Office of the GPA, they were also shareholders of GFFI. It appeared from the correspondence that they might have written to the Office of the President intimating the establishment of a board. That's looking at the correspondence. Yeah.
So the letter said you were to write back to the Office of the President expressing your acceptance or otherwise. Did you do that?
Yes, I did that. Fortunately, I searched for my copy, but I couldn't see it in the file.
All right. Could you tell us, before I ask you to, you have attached to this statement, which
Yes.
you call the witness statement, and you signed, you attached what you call a status report.
Yes.
Brief background. Now, this is undated. When was that status report made?
Well, that's an omission, but we had several meetings, board meetings. I think this must have been made around 2014 or 15, thereabout.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to confirm that it wasn't made for the purpose of this commission.
No,
It was an existing
because
report.
that's why you see I put the confidential, because that was what we sent.
You put where confidential?
The statement you have, there should have been,
The status report. I'm referring to the status report.
oh, the status, okay, yes. This was done at as a statement to informing the executive of our findings, the situation we have found on the ground.
Okay. All right. I'm going to apply to have this document admitted. That is normally you're required to do an oral testimony, which you're going to do, but since you have submitted and compiled this document
Okay.
for the commission, I'm going to apply to have it admitted. Mr. Chairman, may I apply to have admitted a bound document containing a witness statement made by this witness with attached documents, all in connection to the Gambia food and feed industries. Sorry, and together with the appointment, his appointment letter from the Gambia Ports Authority. Mr. Chairman, may I apply for it to be admitted as MS 91B? The 91A is the audit report in relation the audit report on the Gambia food and feed industries. As 91B, yes. There's a file called what? Sorry,
I want to understand. We have this document, the witness statement.
Yes.
Are you saying you are applying to have it?
Yes, we have a series of documents marked 91A and 91B, all relating to Gambia food and feed industries.
Yes.
Yes. For ease of reference, I would just apply for it to be admitted as 91C.
To be admitted as 91C. Yes. Yeah, but we always go. Order. Witness statement of Mustapha B. Colley. Witness number 143. Chairman of the Board of Directors of Gambia Food and Feed Industries, dated 9th November 2017, plus supporting documents, are hereby ordered to be included in Exhibit MS-91 and marked MS-91C.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Colley, when did the Board of Directors meet last?
Well, immediately we were appointed the board. The first thing we did was to visit the factory.
When did you meet last?
When?
Your last meeting of the board?
Well, the last meeting of the board was last year, 2017. I wouldn't remember the exact date, but it's 2017.
When in 2017?
It must be the middle of 2017, because then we are discussing about the arbitration process between the government and CONAPRO.
The arbitration process has concluded, hasn't it?
Yes, the lawyer who was working with us said it has been concluded, yes.
So what is the status of the company's plans?
Well, according to the lawyer, once the arbitration process is concluded, and now that it has been concluded, they are going to look at and the factories are now 100% owned by Gambian shareholders. They're going to look at how to restructure the shareholding. That's yet to be done.
That has to do with the shareholders, but as a board, what steps have you taken to ensure that the factory is operational?
Well, at the moment, we did all this as intimated in my statement, that every effort was made even then to operationalize it. But the shareholders, GPA, GNPC, and Gambia Ports Authority couldn't come up with the funds to complete the installation and so that the factories can be operationalized. So we've looked at all areas of getting financing, and it didn't work.
So there is no management? Is there a management?
No, there's no management, because the management was fully entrusted to the PAL, that's the Lebanese shareholders. Then they left. If they left, even by the time the board was constituted, there was only one operation manager who was around, who was all left for leave and never came back. Well, what we did is there was a technician from Ghana who was working with them at the beginning, so we decided to retain his service to look after the factory, so that at least it is not vandalized or anything. That's just, and then also secure it, fence the area, because then when we came in, it was just open space. Other than the buildings that housed the factory, there was nothing.
So are you saying it's being taken care of at the moment?
Yes, it is.
Somebody is...
He's there, somebody is there, yes.
Okay. We will read, of course, we have read your report. The Commission will read some of the things you've had to say. Since Gambia government has settled the arbitration, the issue then really is what happens to, this is a very expensive investment.
It is.
For all the parastatals.
It was a very expensive, yeah.
Have you engaged with the shareholders since the arbitration as a board?
No, because I was trying to get to the lawyer on several occasions, but every time I call, he's traveled. And for the past two months, definitely I was also sick. I couldn't get him to, so that, because really we just wanted now to restructure the place and actually constitute a board that is a representative of the shareholding.
Well, you're just the chairman, but you do have the authority to call a shareholders meeting. You haven't thought about calling a shareholders meeting? So that
Well, no, I can only call a meeting of the board of directors.
You can call a shareholders meeting under the Companies Act? Have you thought about calling a shareholders meeting?
No, I've never thought of that, no.
At the moment, are you in a position to tell us what the status of the financial situation of the company is?
Yes, I want to call a board meeting where the lawyer would come, and then, as we agreed, they are supposed to restructure the shareholding to reflect each of what they have contributed to the company. And what he intimated was that really at our last board meeting, the amount that is being that they contributed was so the factory has to be based on the current value. So the shareholding will have to be restructured based on the current value and not exactly the amount of money that they have actually contributed.
Who said that?
The lawyer, Mr. Tah.
That does not make sense to me, anyway, with respect. But in any event, as the board, you remain responsible for the factory?
Currently?
Yes. As the board that has not been dissolved, you remain responsible for the factory. Is that not correct? Are you aware you remain responsible?
No. I'm not getting you, sorry.
I'm saying as a board that has not been dissolved,
right,
it still remains your responsibility to make sure that at least the company is operated normally.
Yes, we are aware of that.
But you seem to be waiting for a lawyer to start things going. I mean, why is that?
Well, I believe that if we meet and we structure the shareholding, then the onus will be now on the shareholders to chart the way forward to operationalize it, or see whether they could come up with some partners to operationalize it. Those are the lines that we are discussing.
Mr. Colley,
yes.
Sorry. You seem to be looking for permission from shareholders. You are the chairman of the board.
Yes.
Even if you had a managing director,
right,
he would be answerable to you.
Okay.
So you should chart the way forward. You cannot have a board without management. But if you are the chairman of the board, you can also ask to be the managing director and chairman. So you don't need somebody's permission to make this place operational. You tell them, as the chairman, this is where I want to go. Convince them it's the right path, and you go ahead.
Okay.
Yes. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Sen. Mr. Colley, well,
if you are going to another point.
No, I'm not.
Because
I'm
we
not
have to rise now.
Yes, I know.
It's
I'm not
way
going.
beyond time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just so that Mr. Colley can be released. I was just going to tell him, of course, as you yourself have acknowledged, this is a very expensive investment. And really, the responsibility is the board's to make sure that it's not wasted any further. But we will read what you have submitted, and thank you for. That's all the questions. I have no further questions. So, Mr. Colley, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well. You are released,
Yes,
Mr. Colley.
Thank you. Can I make a request? Unfortunately, the other two documents.
The letters.
Yes, the DT and the audit. I thought I had copies, but.
You can ask for the Secretariat to make a copy for you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock.